Welcome everybody to Libertyville High School on the very last day of the first semester. So that's pretty awesome. We're at the halfway point. And we saved this for the very last period of the very last day of the first semester is one of our favorite moments, which is our Student of the Month program. And I guess I should introduce myself, shouldn't I? I'm Tom Kalenis. I'm the very proud principal of this high school. And I always tell my own kids at home that if there's one award I would want them to win, it would be our Student of the Month award. Because this is really, we celebrate a lot of things at our school. We celebrate academic excellence, and we celebrate artistic excellence and athletic excellence. But this award is really kind of what we think of as the true Wildcat Award, or just the all-around great kid award. Some of you who are here might be outstanding in academics, you might be outstanding in athletics, you might be outstanding in the arts, or you might just be really darn good in those things, or just really good, or maybe not so good. But the one thing that you stand out in is that you are an all-around awesome Wildcat. And you didn't apply for this award. You didn't apply. You didn't fill out an application and say, pick me. You just showed up here every single day, and when you were being yourself, somebody on our staff noticed that you were making a difference and that you were making our school better by virtue of who you are as a human being. And that's what we're here to celebrate today, because that, of all of those things, we believe as a school is the most important. And so I'm so excited because I'm going to bring up some great teachers today and staff members, and they're going to get to talk about you as a student and what it was that they saw that made you a Student of the Month. Okay? So this is really awkward for you students because you get to come up here and you get to stand here in front of everybody while somebody says all this great stuff about you, okay? And then to make it even more awkward, after we talk about you, you get to stand here while we take your picture in front of everybody, okay? So that's a lot of fun too. But this is really a great thing, and it's one of the reasons why I'm so proud to be at Libertyville High School, because we have so many people here today. Think about it. This is our True Wildcat Award. This is our Student of the Month. These are all-around great kids, and we have a packed house because we have so many wonderful students here. Okay, so to get us started, oh, by the way, students, you also, not only do you get this recognition and this wonderful program, but every great school, I really believe, is built, and we have great families, but also great community partners. And this is really special too, because Mr. Jack Greasy is here. He's over here. Mr. Greasy owns Domino's Pizza in Libertyville, and he donates a free pizza for each and every one of you who win Student of the Month. So you're going to get a backpack, and there will be a gift certificate to Domino's Pizza for you, so you can treat your family to dinner. Thank you, Mr. Greasy, for supporting this. And he's been doing this a long time. He's been doing this for many, many years, ever since we started this program. So it just shows his commitment as a business owner to recognize the great work that you as students do, and we are deeply grateful. All right, so to get us started, we are going to bring up the awesome Mr. Lapish to talk about two students today. He's going to talk about Viv Trivedi and Cecilia McDermott Hinman. Celia, sorry. I got to put my new glasses on. I'm getting, come on up, Mr. Lapish. And Celia and Veer.
Both of you guys come up together. All right.
Yeah.
So I get the mic too.
You get the mic.
First, I want to make something clear that I make my kids apply for this award. It's an extensive 5-page application, and it just gets them ready for college. I mean, that's what it's really all about. I had a disclaimer when I sent my note in here that, first off, my writings are quite short, and I don't know if you actually get to see what we get to see, and I don't know that I'll read it verbatim, but I apologize for making short short notes here. It's the crunch time for us, and actually one of the reasons I'm first is because one of these wants to be in my class right now reviewing for finals, and I understand it's probably the case with some of you guys here too as well. So first, let's see who's first on the program here. Veer is the first one, and I'll just summarize my points with him. I wish I could say more, but we want to get back, and there's so many people here, so now I'm rambling. The comment that I put for Veer is something that I think is sort of unique, and it's about him being like a professor in my classroom. And it happened today in class. It's almost like I could almost predict it. I asked something, I can't remember what the topic was, and Veer's like, yeah. I said, yeah, Veer, what do you have to say? And it's never 3 words with Veer. Veer doesn't know 3 words. Maybe in his name. If he has a middle name, those are the only 3 words he knows. Everything else is much longer. And it's a good thing. So Veer then goes on to explain everything exactly as I would have said it, more succinctly than I would have said it. And everybody in class understands it probably a little bit better than I would have said it. And so sometimes I just think, I'm just going to stop talking and just try to let Veer go. So that sums Veer up. There's a whole bunch of other things I could say, but I'll leave it at that for now for the reasons that I've stated. Olivia is very much in the same vein. She's quieter. I'm sorry, Celia. Sorry. Jeez. Shame to look at. I'm talking so fast. Yeah, her name is Celia. I did know that. In very much the same vein in terms of what she contributes to class, much quieter, and I see her almost more as a handy tutor in class. And it's not that it happens often that we're doing group work or something, but if I'm saying something, explaining something, and there's a little bit of lag time, and she can sense somebody has a question about it, or she hears somebody say something, she'll just turn around and say, yeah, it's this. And I can kind of overhear, and she's always like steering them in the right direction and getting everything explained correctly. So, and she's always that way, and both of these guys work as hard as any kid in the school, and so I'm really proud to have both of them here and to remember both of their names most of the time. So thank you all for coming and being here, and I'm glad that one of them's coming back with you. You can come back with me too if you want to review again, but he already went through that. You probably want to stay here, so thanks guys. Where do we go? There's only one X and 3 of us. Okay, so he's right here. I'll go between. With a Detroit jersey. Which way should we smile?
So Celia, I apologize for adding the extra syllable. The good news is, if I'm ever angry at you and I say, to the deans, like, bring me Cecilia, you're safe, you're free. They're not going to know who I'm talking about. And Veer, as Mr. Lapish was talking there about how you can translate his language so that students understand it, I think you should follow me around and just be my principal translator, so that everybody knows what I'm trying to say. So congratulations, and you got to get to class, Mr. Lapish. Let's go. There we go. All right. Our next student, I'm going to have a hard time introducing this teacher because we're in a floor hockey league and he beat me in hockey this morning, but I'm going to begrudgingly introduce the awesome Mr. Stewart, and I had to say that because I lost the bet with him, so today he's awesome Mr. Stewart, and he is going to introduce a student who was in Spanish class with me, Aidan Burkhardt.
All right, so we were fortunate enough to be able to go second because Aidan is going to be following Mr. Lapish up to his class to review for his final. So each year when I get chosen to pick a student for student of the month, I always start thinking about in-class performance. And the problem with that is that I've got tons of names that just come to mind. They just keep on coming. I actually see a few familiar faces out here that names were on my mind. So then I started thinking about consistency of work ethic, kindness and compassion towards other peers, and being dedicated to health and wellness outside of class as well. And this semester, I was fortunate enough to have Miss Alex Volker with us. She's our PE assistant and lifeguard, and she actually student taught with Aidan's second hour class. So I emailed Miss Volker. I already kind of had Aidan in mind, along with a list of other students, and she responded, had a few names, but then she said, but Aidan Burkhardt really comes to mind right at the beginning. And so now I'm going to go off of what I wrote in the packet, just to tell you a little bit about Aidan's performance and the type of person that he is. Aidan is a great student in and out of class, and for as great of a student he is, he's an even better person. Aidan is always kind to his classmates and quick to lend a helping hand when needed. He is the type of person who always encourages his classmates and helps bring the best out of them. I've noticed this behavior in class, in the hallways, and at Lecher Ice Arena where he plays hockey. What is most special about Aidan is his heart for others. This is evident to me and others on a daily basis. In class, Aidan is always willing to help set up or put equipment away. He always listens attentively to instructions and then completes the workout or activity that we're doing with maximum effort. He's not afraid to ask clarifying questions or work with other students and help them out. I guarantee that if you ask other teachers, Ms. Volker, if you ask other coaches, classmates, they would definitely say the same thing about him. At LHS, Aidan plays on the Ice Cats hockey team, like I mentioned before. He's a left winger. He enjoys running on the elliptical at home, running outside when it's nice, riding his bike, and participating on the swim team at Adler Pool over the summers. I'm very proud to nominate Aidan Burkhardt, along with Ms. Volker, for the Freshman PE Student of the Month. Way to go, Aidan. Thank you. Nice work.
Now that I've learned, Aidan, that you play hockey, I could use some pointers. Because my game, I got to beat this guy next week, so. And Aidan, I know you're off to English class, right, to review for that final. All right, good luck. All right, our next student that we're going to bring up, we are going to bring up the awesome Mrs. O'Neill to talk about Julia Munoz. Come on down.
Do I have to talk in the microphone? Can I just talk? Can everybody hear me? Talk in the mic? Okay. Julia is in my one of my math classes, and we have a very diverse class, and she's a shining star, a quiet shining star, but she's the sweetest and nicest person in the classroom at all times. She's always got a smile on her face, and she always is willing to help anyone in the room with whatever they need. So I really appreciate Julia being in our room and always being a friend to others in the room. So I'm going to read what I wrote. It's kind of echoes what I just said, but Julia is a delight to have in class. She is the kind of young woman that educators love to have as a student and peers love to have as a friend. She is sweet and kind, yet a serious student, and is a shining example of maturity and compassion. In a class of students of all levels, I often look to Julia to be a positive example for her peers. More important than her work ethic, though, is the kindness she shows toward others. Julia always volunteers to work with her peers, no matter the situation. She gravitates to students who could use a friend. As a teacher and as a parent, she is the kind of person I hope to raise my own children to be like. Thank you for being such a kind, understanding, and compassionate young lady, Julia.
Julia, I have a confession that math was my worst subject, so I may come calling on you for some help and assistance since you're such a great peer tutor, okay? Especially when it comes time for me to balance my checkbook at the end of the month. That's ugly. Our next student is, we're going to stick with the math theme, and we're going to bring up where's Miss Davis? Is she here? There's the awesome Miss Davis, who's going to come up to talk about Morgan Spaulding.
Okay, so I almost didn't nominate Morgan because her grade is so good in my class that I sometimes try to find somebody. It's not just about having the A. But then I was like, but she's so amazing that why would I, be punishing her just because she's also awesome at math? So I decided I was going to go ahead and do it. So I nominated Morgan for Student of the Month. She's in my first hour math class, which is sometimes difficult in its own, 7:30 in the morning, turning that brain on, getting ready for some honors geometry. But my favorite thing about Morgan is her hard work and positive personality, which are contagious to her peers and also to myself that early in the morning. She puts forth full effort with no excuses and usually does it with a smile on her face. She often comes in early to do practice problems and always seeks out assistance when necessary. I can think of even a time where she was absent for a couple days. She came in the morning after. She was like, okay, so I tried these things. I think I get it. Here's my 2 questions. And she was completely prepared, and I was very impressed. Even more impressively, she can be found explaining these procedures and helping her classmates very often. In addition, Morgan is involved in many athletics here, so balancing her time, I think, is a huge thing, and I'm always impressed with how well the kids are able to stick with it. Through all this, she does an excellent job of balancing her time between extracurriculars and academics. Even though she is only a freshman, I see so much in Morgan. I cannot wait to watch her grow and witness everything she accomplishes in the rest of her years here at LHS.
All right, congratulations, Morgan. Our next student, we are going to jump down to the world languages, and the incredible Miss Ketch is going to talk about Emma Lecher.
Well, this is Emma, and she is awesome. She is quietly awesome and amazing. And I know I'm going to embarrass her. She's going to turn red. But I'm going to tell you what I wrote about her. I'm going to tell you why I chose her. One of the things I love about my job, my name is Jenny Getch, and I'm the department supervisor for world languages. But I also get to teach. And I teach Spanish, too. And I love getting to teach freshmen and sophomores. And then I get to watch them grow over the years here at LHS and change and blossom into the young adults that they're going to become. I just love it. So I chose Emma because she is so dedicated to what she does every day in class. And I can see it in her work. I can see it in her effort. And she is determined to do her very best, even under difficult circumstances. She's positive. She brings in a quietly shining smile every day. Our class is loud. We speak a lot. That's our main goal. So it's noisy and loud, and there's a lot of diverse personalities, and she is just such a welcome addition to that. She's determined to be the best she can in Spanish. She works so hard, and her efforts are sort of an example to everyone else in the class. We work in groups of 4 a lot. They build a strong camaraderie, and she's just such a great part of that. Her answers, whether they're spoken or written, are beautiful, lots of detail. And I can tell that there's a passion there, and she really shows what she can do. Recently, actually even as early as or as recently as today, we had a speaking exam. Students were paired up in an impromptu setting in groups of 3. And recently, she just demonstrated her perseverance and tenacity when she sort of had a block in what she wanted to say, and I could see her start to kind of get flustered, and And she gave it a minute, and she worked through it. She talked around what she couldn't think of to say, which is the most important skill. I was so proud of her in that moment, because that's what we try to teach all of our language learners, is how to talk around what you don't know. The conversation went on. Her group members were so proud of her, and I was so proud of her. She handled it like a pro. She's ready to travel the Spanish-speaking world. And so, Emma, my hope to you is that you continue to pursue your passions here at LHS, and you continue to share your wonderful personality with us and your talents with our school. Confío en ti.
All right, congratulations. And thank you, Emma, for kind of modeling that sometimes being a leader doesn't mean you have to be the most vocal and upfront extroverted person, that the quiet leadership is important as well. You hear all of the singing out there and you think, wow, they must be doing something special because it's almost winter break. No, every day we just have kids singing in the school. That's how awesome of a place this is. Kids are just so happy. They walk down the halls singing. So you're just getting a little glimpse of that. All right. And I just have to say this too, Ms. Getch, when you said that your class teaches people to talk around when they don't know, I got to take this class because usually I don't know what I'm talking about, and this is going to help me kind of work around that situation. So I'm in good shape. All right, I'm going to stay with the Emmas because there's another Emma here today, Emma Bleck. So we are going to bring up the incredible Mrs. Owens from Science to talk about Emma.
Well, this is Emma Bleck. I teach honors biology here at Libertyville, and to quite the opposite, I think, to Ms. Getch's class. It's kind of an intimidating group of students. I have freshmen. They are very conscientious about their grades, very focused, like laser focused in class. They have extremely high expectations of themselves. And with that said, it's an intimidating environment to ask questions and to get clarification. So one of my goals, in addition to just focusing on content, is to get my students to open up and have fun and share pieces of themselves with their classmates, which is kind of hard to do in that environment, and being a freshman and not knowing everyone in your class. I have really bright kids in my honors bio class, and Emma's honors bio class, which is consistent with Emma. She is an amazingly bright young woman. One of the things about Emma that really stood out to me to nominate her for the Student of the Month is that she really started to open up earlier. She started asking questions, outside of the box questions, in an intimidating environment, which to me is very impressive. It showed me that she went above and beyond, outside of class, thinking about what we were learning. So those questions were great. And something else started to come out with Emma's questions. Her amazingly funny, intelligent sense of humor. She will ask questions and make jokes. And you know, I'm not really supposed to be sarcastic in class, but I am. And oftentimes I take it for granted that my students don't realize I'm being sarcastic, but my friends do. So I forget this, and I'll say things in class, you know, I don't know, I can't think of anything, something about like a grade on a test. Yeah, it's gonna be worth 100 points. Well, my homework is 3 points. So it's 100 points. And that'll be my expression. Nobody gets it. And I'll look at Emma, and she gets it. She'll be laughing, she's smiling. She'll be, you know, talking with her peers. No, Mrs. Owens is totally kidding. That's not how it works. So, anyway, I just think Emma is a true standout in my class for being this really bright, intelligent young woman with so much more to her. She's a tremendous personality. She's funny. She works really hard in class. Her lab group is lucky to have her. She's always helping others. I see her just reaching out and just being an excellent peer and friend and a wonderful student. And I'm so happy to have you in my class. And I also teach seniors. So I'm hoping maybe senior year it'll come around full circle and I'll get to see you grow and become a senior. So congratulations, this is very well deserved.
So we've all learned the secret of getting Student of the Month in Miss Owen's class. Just laugh at her jokes. Yeah. And Emma, you are all but guaranteed to be in her class senior year because, she's going to say, I need someone to laugh at my jokes then too. All right. We are going to bring up our awesome Mr. Marino from the Fine Arts Department to talk about Aaron Chen.
He's a big freshman. He's a little older. We've been holding him back for a few years, mainly selfishly because I teach orchestra and he's a great player. And so I'm like, look, trust me, this is going to work out in the end. We're going to need you to stay here. But it worked out. He just found out a couple days ago that he got into Harvard, as a freshman. So Aaron is a senior, so you don't have to feel bad about yourself. We kind of rotate through, and so it was my turn, and I wanted to pick someone that I've had for a while who's done so much for orchestra. I have a lot of great kids like Veer, like Celia, who are in the orchestra program, and it's so fantastic to work with kids who are like this, like Aaron, who are so incredibly thoughtful and sincere and hardworking and respectful. And even though I know that for most of these students, music is not necessarily their priority, but they just bring that same level to the music as they do to any other class that they're in. He is a great leader. I love having thoughtful conversations about the coming robotic apocalypse. You can have these conversations because he knows so much and he's involved with so many things. And so he's been our leader not only musically for us in the group, in our chamber groups, and in our orchestra, and being the concertmaster, but even in our student leadership group. And I say, hey, get the bulletin board up. I'm planning this new party coming on, and he's the one that I can really lean on to take care of that. And what's great is that it's not about I have him do all the dirty work, because they actually like him, and all the kids love him because he's that type of charismatic leader where he works hard and pushes, but everyone's like, God, Aaron's so awesome. Sure, I'll do it. It follows because they want to, because they really enjoy being with him and working with him. So for all those things, I wanted to honor him and thank you so much for all that you've done, man. What? Oh, no. You don't see me. All right. All right.
In addition to being a great scholar and musician, Aaron also has a huge heart, and he's just done a big book donation project for an area school. So awesome work. You'll all pass all the books in the front hall when you come out of the building later today. We are going to bring up our next student. I've got the incredible Mr. Thompson to talk about Ryan Allen.
No, city X. Got to follow instructions, Ryan. I do this quite often, as many people know, and it's not because of the food. It's because I really do enjoy this. In our department, we talk about it, and we decide whoever, and whenever somebody doesn't want to do it or doesn't have anybody, I always say, I can find somebody. And this one was actually very easy to do. Ryan is in my electronics class, and Ryan has an A in class, but it's not because the content comes easy to him. He has struggled this semester, and as I was thinking about who to nominate for this, it was pretty simple. Ryan comes in often if he doesn't understand something. One thing about, and a lot of students will say, well, you know, one unit's not going to kill my grade, it's fine. But that doesn't matter to Ryan. Ryan's wants to understand the content that we're covering. Really wants to understand it, and if he doesn't understand it, he's going to keep coming in. And we talk about that, and that's fine. Just has to let me know if I've got lunch, so I stick around, right? But Ryan will come before school, he'll come after school, come in during his free period, whenever he's confused about something. And it's probably my fault, because I didn't quite explain it the correct way, but eventually he does get it, and he does real well. He's a very hard worker. And as I was trying to decide who to nominate for this, and luckily they don't have to look and see who's been nominated, because this is the first freshman, so nobody's been nominated yet, so it makes it easier. It was an easy decision for me, and that's why I nominated. I was going to talk longer, because I know everybody wants to stick around a long time today, right? But I think that covers it. So congratulations, Ryan. I'll see you in a minute.
And Ryan, you will go down in history as the first Student of the Month selfie ever in Libertyville history, so that's awesome. But you know what, Ryan, one of the things we talk a lot about here as a staff is this idea that it's not about if stuff comes easy right away, right? It's about having that grit and that tenacity and that idea of like, okay, maybe I don't understand it yet, but I'm going to get it with hard work. So thanks for modeling that for all our students. Our next person that we're going to honor here is, I'm going to bring up, actually, let's switch it over. We're going to bring up the middle LST, the G through P LST, to talk about CJ Morris.
I'm Emily Hasselquist. I'm the social worker in the LST. I'm going to read our nomination about CJ. So the G through P LST is proud to have nominated CJ as our Student of the Month. While she's only a freshman, CJ has made quite an impression on the staff and students that she interacts with. CJ's teachers have described her as goal-oriented, reflective in class, patient, friendly, and always willing to lend a hand to her peers. She always walks in the room or the LST with a smile on her face anytime we see her. And students as well describe CJ as extremely kind. In talking with CJ about the WISH program this year, CJ was one of our WISH coordinators, and she made a ginormous impact on WISH. I talked to her the other day, and I said, you know, she has people asking, well, why are you staying after school? Why did you put in so much time? And CJ's answer was that when she saw the smile on the children's faces when they got these presents, that made it all worth it, all the time she put in. So that's just one small example of you know, what a positive outlook CJ has. Despite any of her own personal obstacles, she always has this positive outlook, and we're extremely proud of her and the attitude that she has here. So she's a true example of what it is to be a Wildcat.
I'm Lauren Puttist. I'm the counselor in the middle LST, and Emily and I fought over who got to share. So I did want to add a little bit for CJ that she's a ray of sunshine anytime she comes in my office. And not only does she have a huge heart, but she also just keeps with that smile every day and just keeps working at it. So I'm excited to work with her for the next 4 years.
Nice work, CJ. There's a very famous author, poet, Maya Angelou, who says, people seldom remember what you say, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And it sounds like that's something that you figured out very early in life, so great job. All right, our next person, we have, okay. We are going to bring up the incredible Mrs. Folks to talk about Norah Kenches.
Everybody was standing over there. First off, looking around, this is really hard to do, to pick one person, because I can ditto on Veer. He's going to be my doctor someday. And teaching health, there's some things, oh my goodness, he could teach better than I could right now too. And I just love that. CJ, ditto on that. I had Katherine last year. Looking around, I know I'm missing somebody. But anyway, Emma, that's the other one. So it is really hard as a teacher to narrow one down. And so I kind of wait to see who's already been picked. So, I'll just say that. I'll leave it at that. All right, Norah here she's in my 8th period class, and I kind of joke that she kind of got me through the semester. But I've had the pleasure of having her in health, and it's always bittersweet for health because I only get them one semester. And I lose them to regular PE. Now, Adam already left, but I'm just like, I am in the PE department, but I'm partial to health and lifeguarding, and so I'm going to lose her. Unless she is a good swimmer or he wants to take lifeguarding, I won't see her again in class. So I always tell him, don't forget me, stop by and see me. But anyway, the things that I've witnessed and admired about this tenacious young lady is started first off in the first part of the semester. And she was working with one of the teachers, and she's like, Norah feels like, boy, things are going really fast, and this isn't junior high anymore. And she's like, how can we do this? When she came to class, I would never have known that she was, having a little stress about keeping up with lecture, and we move right along. We only have them one semester, and we have to get certain mandates covered in health. So she didn't throw in the towel. Some kids do. They're like, fine, it's just health, it's just one semester, I don't care what I get, and they give up. Not this young lady. She first handled it she adjusted to the situation, handled it by going and getting help, which was awesome. And as a freshman, that's not done very often either. And so she sought out help and created ways to tackle this new stage of her life. She had the desire to be and do her best, and she displayed the skill of self-advocacy and trying to find a solution. So through those first weeks, I thought she might become frustrated and not give the effort needed or just feel defeated, but I quickly learned that not only was she determined, but her determination came with a great, wonderful, optimistic attitude. Norah's glass half full attitude is contagious and is such an encouragement to me as a teacher. I have often been grateful for her smile and humor at the end of the day, and she will come in too and just say, it was a bad day, Mrs. Folks, and I'm like, well, it sure doesn't look like it. And, and here I may be her, and she's just like, yeah, it was a bad day, but here I am, I'm like, okay, and she's been great medicine in class. The other character quality that I've admired is her compassion for her peers, and I've seen a lot in this freshman class, and it just is very, CJ, and I will ditto that too with you, but this freshman class has been pretty special, and I see that they really have cared about their peers. And we cover quite a few different things in health, but mental health, when I kept thinking mental health, this girl right here was trying to do things and applying things, and she was compassionate, she wanted to help, and one thing we keep talking about is, what can you do for somebody? Say it. Oh, yeah. What can you do if somebody needs help? Be there for somebody, but get help for them. How can they get help? Talk to a trusted adult. Veer is at a loss for words right now. Okay. But she came to me and had concerns for some peers, and it wasn't just her this semester, but a lot of kids are concerned about their peers and their friends. And I was just like, wow. That meant the world to me, because a lot of times kids are just in their own little bubble and what's going on with them, and I've seen a real compassion in her. The last thing I want to say is she's a walking advertisement for my mental health unit because she finds healthy ways to handle her stressors, just like with getting help and figuring out how to handle the pace of high school. She faces her challenges head on. She has a positive outlook on life, and when people need help, she finds someone who can help, even if she might not be able to. I look forward to seeing what you're going to accomplish in the next 3.5 years, because you just finished your first semester, so 3.5 years to go. And I also can't wait to see how you impact all those around you with your generosity and your compassion. So, congratulations.
Well, there's a lovely theme emerging with a lot of our students here in this idea of compassion and kindness for others. So Norah, thank you for continuing that and making this place better for lots of other students. All right, we are going to bring up the awesome Mr. Matthews, who's going to talk about Katherine Hatevogel from Driver's Ed Department. He's got the special Driver's Ed shirt on just for this moment. I love it.
Hello, everybody. I'm Sean Matthews. I'm the lead teacher in driver education. The reason I'm wearing this T-shirt is because Katherine actually designed it. So, and that was after I already chose her. So it wasn't like this. It was anything like that. So Katherine's done a great job for us. She's the nice part about driver education. We have 3 different phases. We have a BTW, behind the wheel. We have a simulation phase, and we have a classroom. So the unique part about that is you've got 3 different teachers for one subject. So I have Katherine for simulation. Now I'll back up a little bit. Katherine was supposed to be nominated, or she was nominated last month, but she had a school obligation. She couldn't be here, so we kind of put her with this month. So I have Katherine for simulation. She does a wonderful job. And after a simulation lesson, they have about 5 minutes to go in class. And Katherine and her peers come up with cheers. They come up with all kinds of things. So she came up with a simulation cheer. She came up with a classroom cheer for Mr. Adams and a BTW cheer for Mr. Wilcox. She's just wonderful. When she comes into class, she's smiling. It's funny because other students in their class, they're kind of like, she'll come in a couple minutes late, perhaps once in a while, and the other students are just kind of like this. And all of a sudden, Katherine comes in and they all just light up. So it's wonderful. It's just fantastic. So when I suggested and I nominated Katherine, everybody unanimously said that was a fantastic situation. So it's our pleasure to have her. Chris, her older brother, is here, and Chris we had last year. He's a freshman at Nebraska. It's wonderful that he could be here and see this. I had Chris also in simulation, and unfortunately I didn't nominate him. but then again, he never gave us any cheers. So she's absolutely wonderful. Like I said, I mentioned that to all the other teachers, and without a doubt, they just said, yes, this is a great thing. So every day she'd go into simulation or classroom or behind the wheel, and everybody was just talking about, wow, Katherine was here, and then that teacher would light up as well. So it was very contagious. It's wonderful to see, and I know that's kind of the theme around here. And as Dr. Calentis said, congratulations to everybody. It's just a wonderful thing. So congratulations to you, and we're very happy to have you.
I just love the fact that for the rest of her life, Katherine will have something to hang over her brother's head that she was Student of the Month. That's awesome. All right. We are going to bring up the extraordinary Mr. Thompson to talk about Julia Hassler in social studies.
right. Well, I nominated Julia for a number of reasons, about 30 of them. So I'm going to go through them one by one. No, I'll give you a couple reasons why I nominated Julia. So she's in my AP World History class, and it's pretty unusual to have freshman students in AP. I think there's only 2 classes that are open to freshmen that are AP level. And one of the things about my class is that there's a lot of reading pretty much every day, right? Yeah. And there's stuff that they'll need to read and need to understand and process that we simply can't talk about in class. So just about every day we start class by going over the reading with their partner. Okay, they sit by a partner, and they take 3 to 5 minutes just to go through what they read, to process it, to ask each other any questions. And she is definitely the most prepared. She always has good insight, but also has good questions as well. So if her partner can't answer them, I can help her out. But she's always prepared for that. The other reason, I'll give you 2 reasons, not the 30, is that she is not a point Mongol. Okay, so you might be wondering, what's a point Mongol? This is a term that actually was coined by an AP student last year. I used to call them point mongers, people that just wanted points. Like, hey, is this worth points? Am I doing this for points? And they would, and some of the teachers probably know these people out there. And so one of my students changed it. She said, this is a point Mongol. So quick history lesson. Mongols, when they conquered their territory, they would extract as much wealth and resources from the areas that they conquered. So a student that is a point Mongol is someone that extracts as many points as possible from a teacher in order to get a good grade. Now, Julia has a great grade, but for her it's not about that. It's about the learning, the understanding of the material, and she really works hard at it because it's not an easy course. For many students, I had to, calm them down because it was the first time they didn't get an A on a test. And I can't remember what you got on your first test, but it's a challenging course, and really she works hard and is always prepared and really brings positive energy to our class. So that's why I nominated Julia.
Bell rang, Joseph's got to go. He's a man on the move. Julia, awesome work, and I love that you're learning for learning's sake and nothing more than that. That natural curiosity, that's great. So thank you for modeling that. And last but certainly not least is the awesome Mrs. Gallivan from Family and Consumer Science to talk about Sam Otto.
I am biased, but I do believe we're saving the best for last. So I'm Mrs. Gallivan, and I have the pleasure of teaching a lot of really fun courses, such as foods, gourmet foods, pastry arts, international cuisine, clothing construction, just to name a few. And Sam Otto is a name that you're going to want to remember, because every once in a while in a high school, you receive a student, and I wish I could take a fraction of the credit for this young man, but I have to thank his parents primarily for raising such a wonderful young man that has got it. Like you just meet this kid and you're like, wow, there's not enough that I can say, but what I will say is that he came into my Foods 1 class, and yes, he could teach the class. He has such a passion for food and culinary and cooking already that it blew my mind. He knows the answer to every question. He has gone to exquisite culinary camps and just loves to cook, and often shares with me wonderful recipes and really tremendous things that he's doing on his own. And to say that he's going to be a success in life is an understatement. He just has got what it takes, not only because he's passionate about what he does, but he's so kind and helpful. I mean, a lot of kids in that position would just kind of stick to their own group and do what they need to do, but he is more than happy to help his peers, and he helps them very kindly and never in a way that diminishes like what they don't know, but in a way that is just really helpful to me and in a way that gets them also excited about the things that we're doing in class. But furthermore, I mean, to show like a small example, because I could talk all day about this young man, in his group, and he has a really sweet group of boys, one of the boys has a very severe gluten allergy. So all semester, and gluten-free food has come a long way, it really has, but it's not as good as some of the regular yummy treats that we're making in class. And he has had to modify every recipe to the group has, so that this other young man could participate in our class, and never once complained about anything, did it really graciously so that this other young man would feel totally welcome into our class and feel a part of the class. And that to me was really tremendous also. So you're gonna see big things out of this young man, I can't say enough. He's kind, he's hardworking, he's passionate, he's just wonderful to work with, so I hope that you all get a chance, but I'll steal him as much as I can these next 4 years. So thank you.
So Sam, anytime you need someone to check your work, maybe do like a review, a preview of it, stop on by my office. There will always be space for you there. Well, you can see from this presentation today why I am the luckiest principal in the world. And what's even better for me today is to find out that I get to work with all of these folks, except for Aaron, of course, who's a senior. Got you for 4 more months. The rest of you I've got for 4 more years. And our future is very bright at Libertyville High School. So thank you very much, everybody, for coming in today. Thank you again, Mr. Greasy, for always supporting this work, and Domino's Pizza, and families and friends and everyone. We've got all of this food over here. It is here for you, so please get some on your way out. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend.